I'm gonna call roll. Chair Johnston is here, Council Lady Evans is here, Council Lady Lee is absent, Council Lady Murphy is here, Vice Chair Pulley is here, Councilman Rosenberg, is here, Councilman Rutherford. There's a lot more people here than I thought. I feel like so many people are absent. Councilman Sledge is not here, Council Lady Sepulveda is here, and Council Lady Stiles is absent. We do have a quorum. I'm going to put all of our resolutions on consent. If anyone needs to pull anything off, please let me know. RS 2021.
Hold on, wait. I'll just say that if anybody wants to sign on to my immunization, you are more than welcome. That would be 1082.
We can do that on the floor. Thank you. RS 2021-1080. Rosenberg and others recognizes Michelle Fiscus, MD, for her leadership during the first 16 months of the COVID-19 pandemic. RS 2021-1081 Hurt honors the life of Carolyn Ruth Oler. RS 2021-1082 Murphy and others recognizes August 2021 as National Immunization Awareness Month in Nashville and Davidson County. Can I get a motion?
Second.
Probably moved and seconded. Any discussion, questions?
Do we have a letter from her?
I have a letter from Joy, from Toombs. I do not, but I put it on consent anyway. All in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Any not voting? All right, late items, late resolutions, Councilman Rosenberg, a resolution appropriating a total of $850,000 from the general fund of the General Services District for a grant to Community Care Fellowship and authorizing a grant agreement. We don't need to discuss the content of it. I just need to understand the reason for the late file.
It is late file because they just got the funding and the authorization to go ahead and move forward with it after the filing deadline. And it's urgent because the homeless situation is very urgent.
Okay. Any questions or objections to that? Seeing none, there's also a late resolutions by Council Lady Toombs, a resolution.
I'm sorry, I don't know if this needs to be in here, but Councilman Taylor.
Yeah, I have a late amendment to this.
Okay, it doesn't really matter.
Okay, we're good?
We're just dealing with the late part of it.
All right.
You're good.
He has a late amendment.
I have a late amendment to that.
So what is
Does he really?
Yes.
Okay, because we're moving into what, 110?
But he's a late amendment because it's a late resolution.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought once it was late. Okay, go ahead.
So yeah, so
That's not on the agenda, by the way.
That's okay. It was late as of 3 hours ago. So anyhow, so it addresses that the Metro Homeless Impact Division will provide an update to the Metropolitan Council within 90 days after adoption, and then Brookmead was the only organization that was listed. We had an additional 2 to 3, but we didn't know who those were, and those have been highlighted as additional sites will include Madison, City Road Chapel, and then also they're actively working to identify a partner in Southeast.
Awesome.
So that is the amendment.
Awesome. And so it's late filed, obviously, because this is late filed. Perfect. Does anybody have any objection to the late filed amendment to the late filed resolution? Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
The next late resolution is Council Lady Toombs, a resolution accepting the terms of a cooperative purchasing master agreement for law enforcement Airbus helicopters. I do have a letter to approve from Council Lady Toombs. I think, who is the best person to address the late, would it be you, Commander Gilder?
Sure, I can. Just briefly, this process has been going through procurement, which obviously takes a little bit of time. But the manufacturer notified us just about a week or week and a half ago that they were going to we would have to get this process through council by tonight to accomplish the purchase by the 10th. But otherwise, they were going to have to move on to the next agency in line because there's about 3 agencies, police agencies, trying to buy these helicopters. And much like if anybody's trying to buy refrigerators, cars, anything right now, you can't just get it. So it would delay us by between probably 9 and 12 months of getting back in line to get helicopters.
And
if
increase
we
the
miss
cost.
this deadline. Yes, ma'am. And increase the cost because of a trade-in value would probably diminish because we are trading in 2 of our older helicopters for this purchase.
Awesome. Thank you. Does anybody have any questions or objection to the late filed resolution? Nope. All right. Thank you. Do you want to take these 2 at the same time? Okay. So 2 late ordinances, Councilman O'Connell. An ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County by changing from IR to SP zoning for properties located at 1212, 1300, 1302, 1304 Herman Street and Herman Street unnumbered, and a portion of 907 12th Avenue North at the northwest corner of Herman Street and 12th Avenue North, 1.79 acres, to permit up to 250 multifamily residential units, all of which is described herein, as well as an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metropolitan Codes by changing from IR to SP zoning for a property located at 1301 Herman Street at the southwest corner of Herman Street and 12th Avenue North, 2.11 acres to permit a mixed-use development, all of which is described herein.
Now you know what it's like to chair planning.
I do, that's a lot of words.
That is a lot of words. Basically, this is two housing projects that are underway. The request to get these bills prepared was submitted timely. There was just an administrative issue on the planning side that did not result in their being timely filed. So they did file them so that we could do this late. The urgency is really just to get the project started. They have a calendar they're trying to keep with. We had everything otherwise timely. The only issue was planning's preparation of the bill. So the planning chair may have a comment.
But so you're also gonna require a rule suspension, is that correct?
That is correct.
And
Because
so
they're
how
late
much is it going to throw off the calendar? I mean, what is the urgency to rule suspend and late file?
Basically, because they were tracking, and you might recall the meeting where there were technical difficulties at the planning commission, this has thrown off the applicant's timeline for when hard money happens, right? So I think they are just eager to get the project going according to their original calendar, which we would have been on.
So had the mic situation not happened, you would not need late file or
Right.
rule suspended?
Right, I think if we had not experienced technical difficulties along the way, we would not need a rule suspension. But honestly, that's where the snowball.
My broader point in asking that, y'all, is that I'm kind of surprised we haven't seen more of that, because we missed one meeting, some of y'all were there, that was a pretty heavy calendar, and for the mics to be out, it's something that I probably should have stepped up and called out ITS on, because the mics were out 2 weeks in a row because I was there like the week before for historic, and then for this, and so I think it's just it's a reminder to us that, I don't know who, maybe
Well,
I need to pitch this over to ITS committee, but.
Broader point, I bet the reason why you didn't
So
see
we shouldn't
more.
have to do this.
This one was complicated further, so, right, Mike's out, technical difficulties, your broader point stands. Further, I think the applicant was expecting, as was I, this would have been on consent, an adjacent property owner stepped up, pulled it, I think because they wanted the applicant to buy their property.
Gotcha.
Right, so
Yeah,
there was
yeah.
just this, a slightly unusual set of circumstances that was added to by the technical difficulty.
And we do have a recommendation from planning already,
Yes.
Okay.
It will be there by the next.
by the time it's
yes.
supposed to be.
So this will not, we will wind up with what I expect to be an approval from planning before we get to third.
Alrighty.
So no objection, correct?
No, yeah.
Thank you. We're adjourned.
Thank you.
Do we have a meeting date for committees?
No, I'm gonna set it